Alright guys, in my very last reptile show, I was there for quite a while selling snakes, and I'm starting to think I picked something up, and I'm pretty sure it's called Pacman Frog Fever, and the symptoms are I constantly think about Pacman frogs, and I have this overwhelming desire to buy more and more frogs. And if you guys have had similar sickness, it's called ball python fever, and it has the same symptoms. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So take a look at this Pacman frog. I actually bought two of them, and they're albino Pacman frogs. I picked them up at the show, and I've been keeping them in these tubs, these hatchling tubs. Fits right in my hatchling rack, and look at all the Pacman frogs that I could get. Instead of just two, I could fill this whole rack and really get into the Pacman frog business. So I've been really thinking about getting into it really seriously. And the substrate I use, this happens to be plantation soil. And plantation soil is it's a really finely ground coconut husk, and it works really good, holds the humidity really well. I really soaked it last week and then squeezed out all the excess moisture and put it in there, and it's been holding the humidity all week. I'm thinking it probably will hold it for a couple weeks at least. And then I use a sphagnum moss on top just to kind of hold the humidity and give them a little bit more to burrow into. And I also decided to pick up some eco earth, and I actually traded some rats for a whole bunch of this eco earth instead of just taking the guy's cash at the pet store. We've been kind of in this trade deal where we keep trading stuff back and forth. And this stuff I think is a little bit more expensive than the plantation soil. So for 3 blocks of the soil, this actually expands to a whole bag. And these are about $5, and this is $21. So I think I'd save about $5 every few blocks if I went with the plantation soil. But I kind of wanted to show you my Pacman frog a little bit closer. Let me set my camera up on this tripod and let's check them out. So I've seen some videos on the internet about really mean and growling, hissing Pacman frogs, and they say really you should pick up a frog and handle it so it doesn't really get that mean. And I'm just going to spray this guy down with a little bit of water and kind of spray him off just to show you how pretty he is. He's really kind of dirty and full of the shredded coconut husk. He's kind of going all over the place. But he's a really good looking frog. Take a look at that thing. Woo-wee. He looks really beautiful. And the good thing about these guys is they'll eat anything. I've seen people just feeding them like bits of chicken, probably even eat a hot dog. It's pretty incredible. And ideally, they say you can feed them like frozen thawed rodents, and the rodents actually give them all the calcium that they need. You don't have to dust them with calcium because of the bones in the rodents. And this guy is really good looking. Let me see if I can turn him around a little so you can kind of see his eyes. Oh, he bit me. Yeah, they say to play with them kind of when they're smaller, because when they bite you at this size, they don't really hurt at all. But if they're big and they bite you, they can really draw some blood. So you really have to handle them and have them kind of get used to you. So they're not so aggressive when they're big. But it's almost, I've been thinking, this is almost the ideal pet. You're thinking about, the ball python craze and why ball pythons became so popular. And I think it's because of the low maintenance. And these guys, you could feed them a rodent once a week and just keep them humid. And they don't need a really big enclosure. They're happy with something really small, and they're burrowers. They burrow into the substrate, and they're kind of a hunter that waits for the prey instead of running after it like most frogs. And you really don't need a really big enclosure. I mean, this would be perfect for an office type situation. You're looking for a pet for the office, and I thought about, snakes would be kind of cool at the office, but a lot of people are really afraid of snakes, and I think the frog would be, especially the Pacman frog, would be the ideal pet for your office. So for me, it's almost the perfect pet. So the other advantage of Pacman frogs is specifically for me, and I would say for most people who are breeding snakes, is you can feed them rodents. I happen to have a little tiny pinky mouse here that I prepared earlier, and if you want to watch a Pacman eat, he'll eat just about anything. Let's see if he'll eat this thing. There you go. That is about all you have to do. Once a week they just eat one little tiny rodent. That's almost too big for them, but they can also eat crickets and mealworms and a whole bunch of different stuff. So yeah, I've seen people feed them just about anything that'll fit in their mouth there. They're basically garbage disposals. You don't have to worry about picky eaters or anything. And I've been thinking about getting into breeding them. So it's a little bit tricky to breed them. They say you have to cool them down for about 2 months, and then after you cool them down, you put them in a what they call a rain chamber. And all that is basically an aquarium with like ceiling light grating on the bottom, and then like a sprinkler over the top towards they're kind of wading in some shallow water, and all the eggs fall through the grate underneath, and they can lay like up to 1,000 eggs at a time. So it could be really prolific. Some of these frogs sell for as much as like $150 a piece, so it could be pretty lucrative. And I thought about just giving it a shot and kind of starting up my kind of a I guess a frog side business, and kind of see where it goes. So I actually ordered a few clear tubs for my hatchling rack. So this rack is made by ARS, and it's really designed for ball python hatchlings. It holds a lot of ball pythons. I pretty much filled most of it this year, and it's pretty much thinned out now that I sold most of them. But so so these are actually designed for snakes. I have snakes in most of them. Here's a little bamboo female. And the new tubs that I ordered for my Pacmans are actually clear tubs, and they don't have the drink holder, because I think the Pacman, if you filled it up too much, I think it could fall in here. And I think it'd be better off with a shallower water ditch. And I think the Pacmans like some light, so if I had clear tubs, they'd have more ambient light from the room. And they don't really need any UV light. They don't need any really special considerations as far as heating or light. It's about 82 degrees in here. And I'm almost tempted just to buy another hatchling rack like one of these 1039 hybrids, and it holds 39 tubs, and I could put a lot of Pacman frogs in here. So I guess this is the start of my Pacman adventure on my Animal Adventure channel, and I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. This is just kind of the very beginning. I've been thinking about it, and it seems like it kind of aligns with what I'm doing here, feeding once a week, and it's a really low maintenance animal, and I think it would be really popular. There's not a whole lot of people breeding Pacman frogs, and from what I've seen, there's just a couple websites. There's probably one that I saw that sells wholesale, and he's actually selling 18 different color pattern morphs, and I've seen others besides his. So I'm thinking there's probably at least 20 or 25 different color and pattern mutations, and some of them are incredible. Just the colors and the patterns, it almost looks like they were painted with a with a paintbrush and some really bright paint. And I'm thinking nobody has really invested the time, I don't think, to really progress it like the ball pythons. And you know, now the ball pythons, there's hundreds of different colors and patterns. And I think really if a few people sat down and really focused on trying to expand the Pacman frogs, I think, you know, with the different morphs out there, I think it would be really popular. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will bring you along for the Pacman ride. I'll see you next time.